Hi and welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. And today's Thriver TV episode is very important because I think the greatest trauma maybe of all that we can experience is the one that hits us fair and square in the heart. And that's discovering that the person who professed to love us the most actually didn't. That it was a lie, that the love we initially believed in as real, deep and true with a love partner or believe should be forthcoming and unconditional, such as from a mother, father, sibling or even our own child, that it wasn't. Because this truly threatens the very fabric of our sense of humanity, connection, as well as our place in the world. Most of all, it causes us to be terrified of letting people into our hearts again. Because after all, if we've been betrayed by a person who was someone who was supposed to love us the most, who can we trust? Can we trust anyone? Can we trust ourselves? So, as with anything in our lives, we do have choices no matter what our outer experiences are or even what has happened to us. And it saddens me greatly when people say, I will never trust again. I know I can't. And that's a choice, and I can understand why you would make it. However, it is the victim's choice because there's only one outcome that can ever lead to: pain. With a closed heart, and when we're not free of trauma, and when we continue to unconsciously generate exactly what we expect, which is untrustworthy experiences with others, and when we're not as yet healed enough to stop holding others responsible for our life experience, we're either going to try to hide out under a rock where we're doomed to a life of loneliness and disconnection, or we're going to attract people who are terminally unavailable so as to not ever risk getting into a relationship and getting hurt again, or we will draw people into our life who seem all shiny and nice but turn out to be narcissistic abusers who break our hearts into even more pieces. And all of that is showing us the quantum truth. So within, so without. We're simply getting more of our victimization and our trauma that we've not dealt with yet. So what do we really want? This is the truth. We want to be loved and share love and connect with others. After narcissistic abuse, how is that possible? It's in fact very possible, but it takes development. It takes self-commitment. And if you do that, in fact, you have the ability to start experiencing the most loving, connected, real relationships that you've ever experienced in your life. The reason being is because finally you can turn inwards and heal and adjust all of the subconscious programs that were unconsciously keeping you separated from real love. And without the narcissistic experience, these wounds may never have got your attention enough in order to do the real work on them that was always going to free you from whatever was holding you back. Usually we commit to the work when we finally realize that there's nothing else to do if we want a great life. And that's what breakdowns are all about. They lead us to breakthroughs if we take on the midwifing of them. And this is exciting. This is the Thriver way, when we decide that life has been happening for us and not to us, and that our growth brought on through adversity is beckoning us forward. Now, maybe I haven't talked about this before, or maybe I have, I can't remember. But what I want to talk about is this. After a breakup with a narcissist, a relationship fast is very necessary. You've been broken, you've been traumatized. And what this means is the original painful belief systems that have been wedged inside you, which have been your normal and playing out in your life, were smashed and ripped up to the surface. And if you push them back down, the lessons missed. The trauma stays internalized, and that means you're going to be looking down the barrel at more of the same trauma. The narcissist may as well continue on doing his or her job, because even if you successfully go no contact, the anxiety and the depression from your internal, unhealed, unattended to trauma is going to keep eating you alive. And what we need to understand is it's not any other person's job to take this trauma away. And it's actually impossible for them to do it. Quantum law, so within, so without, is absolute. And outside people can only ever give you more of the same. They're going to be someone who'll turn up, who'll match that trauma, no matter how wonderful they originally appeared to be. Or there may be people who are healthy with solid enough inner identities to be available for real love show up. But these people are going to then turn and go in the opposite direction from you because they're not a match for your trauma. And either way, you're going to feel abused, unloved, and abandoned again, back to square one with even more unhealed trauma, which of course is life and our soul's grand plan if we're not getting it. Lovingly, the internal, external systems that are always rooting and cheering for your evolution eventually bring us to our knees if necessary, if we haven't awakened to turn inside and love and heal ourselves back to wholeness. Now, I want you to understand this, really understand this. You are chemically attracted to your trauma, whatever your internalized trauma is. So what you hate about what somebody did to you and the beliefs that you may have about men and women and the things that they do, that is your unresolved trauma. That is exactly the people that you're going to flirt with, play with, partner with, and marry, truly. And this is why when we don't resolve our trauma, we go around and around in the same circles, and we believe that it is everyone doing this to us. And our out of focus, the illusion that's going on outside of us, makes us believe such things as men are only after one thing, women are entitled and they take my money and my possessions, and that there are no good men or good women left, and the ones that are all just tarred with the same brush. These are the powerless beliefs that we haven't yet realized are generated in our inner being, drawing to the letter the validity of those beliefs, making them real in our experience. And then there's no way to get off this trajectory until we realize that our life comes from the outpour of our own internal subconscious beliefs. In particular, the ones with large painful trauma attached to them. These are the ones which are supercharged. And of course, you will have no way to trust someone when you are stuck in those beliefs. And in fact, on an internal level, in your own heart, you know that. The evidence is within you profoundly, and it's got nothing to do with the quality of the next person who turns up in your experience. When you think of the topic of love again, the fear comes up, the anger comes up, the resentment and the grief comes up. And this means, when it does for us, point blank, one thing only, that we're unresolved and our picker is going to be broken. The people we'll choose and the people who choose us match all of that unresolved trauma. So when you're still in that, it is perfectly understandable that you won't feel safe. So here is the deal, truly, and it's a journey I've been on. I can assure you, after narcissistic abuse, I could not go out my front door. I did not have another man touch me for 3.5 years. I was so traumatized and terrified of being connected with somebody again. I was damaged. My soul had been raped, and so had every part of my life, sanity and being. Yet now I'm in a wonderful relationship that is very safe. I also have no fear if things don't work out, that I wouldn't be able to procure another healthy relationship. I no longer believe in men can't be trusted, men are abusive, men will strip my life bare, a man could pretend to love me whilst being my most dangerous enemy. Those were my beliefs. Yes, there are men like that in the world, absolutely, but they do not exist in my reality. I don't have any traumas on this, and I dedicated my life to finding those traumas and releasing them from my being with quantum freedom healing. And as such, I turn up, I ask the difficult questions. I don't bury down that gut feeling of something's not right. I'm willing to lose it all to get it all and show up with boundaries in my truth. And that generates authenticity and self-love and self-respect, which then is reciprocated, it comes back. And I have no need for another person to ever give me love, approval, survival and security again. And there is no need to cling on when someone is not right. So here is the thing. There is only one place to go if we can't trust ourselves and life and others. Inwards to our own healing, to release and up-level our traumas that are stopping us loving ourselves and loving life. And in conjunction with this, I can't recommend enough working on the primary relationships in our life before getting into relationship with someone. And this is where we get to practice. This is where we get to heal so much before the big one. And in doing so, these are the questions to ask ourselves. Are we real with people? Have we approached people that we've got strained relationships with? And I'm not talking about narcissistic abusers. That's about no contact and modified contact. I'm talking about other people. And invite them honestly and directly into a deeper, more truthful relationship with us. Are we willing to have the difficult, honest conversations with people and invite them to do the same with us in order to co-generate true intimacy, realness, and the ability to grow together? If we haven't released enough trauma and we're not prepared to show up and start doing this with key people in our lives and be healed enough on an inner level to be at that level of authenticity, how on earth are we going to do it in a real relationship with people on an intimate partner level, where the level of truth, that level of truth is not just healthy, but vital if we want a great love life? Too many people skip this. Many people never do the work and die within painful relationship patterns or as sad and lonely individuals. And it doesn't need to be this way, truly. Also, many people believe that someone is required to fill the void of loss or loneliness, that somebody else is going to heal it for them. And they do exactly what I used to do, get into relationships not feeling whole and hand power away, trying to earn love and cling and sometimes demand far too much until healthy partners start pulling back and away in order to breathe. And if the dependency is too much, a whole healthy person looking to generate a healthy life, not get it or give it, give power away or try to get it from others or give it away, they're going to set boundaries. And if those boundaries don't create an up level, they're going to move on. Narcissists, on the other hand, love dependent people because such individuals are prize fodder to hook up and keep as narcissistic supply. Because if we're not whole, we're like an injured gazelle at the edge of a pack, ripe to be picked off by a predator. Healthy relationship dynamics are this. They're where two people are willing to be a self and then share that self. And that self doesn't have to be perfectly healed or completely whole. What it means is the person is clear. There is no upside to remaining unconscious and having power over another or handing power away in order to try to get needs met. True relationship is where power, real power, which is authenticity and honesty, which is coming from a platform of self-love, security, and worth, is shared. So let's have a look at the healthy steps of trusting again after the heartbreak of narcissistic abuse. Step 1 is go on a relationship fast. Step 2 is start working on the relationship with yourself first, because as soon as you turn inwards with love and devotion to address your inner traumas, you've already started loving, accepting, and supporting yourself. When we are dedicated to that mission, every time we release wounds, we start to make way for the good stuff, the organic well-being and health, and we reset to our true self state, which is unwounded. Step 3, after a certain amount of healing our traumas, we can start showing up honestly with people in our life and invite them into more honest, authentic relationships with us. And I want to expand on this step in another video with you soon. Step 4, when we start making a pact with ourselves that never again are we going to hand power away and not confront and not be honest, and that we're going to heal ourselves to the level that we will no longer cling like helpless children to people who hurt us. That we're going to take on the journey of growing ourselves up. And I promise you that when you start committing to that path, your life will start flourishing and blossoming. Everything starts looking different and feeling different. Wonder and joy starts bubbling up within you, and an immense gratitude for so much of your life and the truth and the joy that you start living. When you have fallen in love with life, you are in love with the process of life and also yourself. They're all interconnected. And that is when we're able to love another, as well as easily retreat from people who do not measure up to be healthy enough to love us healthily. The narcissist and what happened to us becomes irrelevant, other than it brought forth for us the necessity for us to heal ourselves back to wholeness. We thought our healing was all about healing the trauma that they did to us and the trauma of them not loving us. Yet I promise you that when you heal the Thrive away, you will know our healing was always between us and ourselves. So I hope that this video has helped answer some questions for you and given you a way forward. And please, if you have any more questions, come over to the blog, which is blog.melanietoniaevans.com, because I'd love to answer your questions there for you as well. So until the next video, you know what to do. Keep smiling, keep healing, and keep thriving, because there is nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.